All right, gentlemen, I believe we are live. If somebody in the side chat could confirm that, that'd be awesome.
It just came up, I think.
Oh, perfect. Well, appreciate everybody showing up, including the train. That's got to be Kenny. I hear train in the background.
Train? No.
Yeah, that's us.
Well, I say Kenny because he employed all along the rails there. Well, first I want to thank New York City Reloader out there. Threw some money in the pot to get the website up and running. I appreciate that, brother. You did not have to do that, but it's certainly appreciated. As folks that have experienced this multi-author, hey, there he is, in fact, Mr. New York Reloader himself. Outstanding. For anybody that has experienced this multi-author live stream before, you know, really it's pure chaos, but we have a lot of fun doing it. Outstanding. For anybody that is starting to get an echo. New York City Reloader, do you have that the video playing as well? All right, I think the echo's gone. All right, before we get going too far, why don't we go ahead and have folks here introduce themselves that are on screen so everybody knows who they are. We'll start with you, Highboy.
Well, I'm Highboy. I own the 76 Highboy Reloading YouTube channel. And I'm humbled to be here, so I'm just in for a good live stream.
I'll say, and you know, we had some comments or some questions that were thrown in on YouTube and the Reloaders Network, and one of the guys commented that I believe it was Fuzzy. He was curious what state everyone was in. So if you don't mind,
I'm from Idaho.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
All right, Cranky, over to you.
I am Cranky Cleatus. I'm from the socialist New Jersey, unfortunately. I'm relatively new to the Reloaders Network as far as an author. I've been, following most of the guys on there for quite a while as a viewer, but I just started putting up my own content.
Uncle Jim's curious why he wasn't invited. You were, brother. The link is on Slack. All right, Kenny.
All right. My name's Kenny, and my YouTube channel is Chicowize Shooting. Always a pleasure to be on part of the Reloaders Network live streams. Like I mentioned, it's always chaos, but it's a lot of fun. Folks here are just great people, and we just talk about all kinds of things. And I'm pretty happy, proud to be here today, and proud to be part of the Reloaders Network. Even though I'm on call, so if I got to jump off, then I'll let you guys know.
All right, I'm going to mute my mic for a second while I send this link over to Uncle Jim. Jamie, over to you.
Hey, y'all. I'm Jamie. I'm from Georgia. My channel is JH586. Glad to be on here with everybody tonight. And looking forward to having a good time. New York City, that's a fine-looking stogie. What kind is that?
Romeo and Juliet.
Ooh. I smoked for about 20 years and I quit. So.
I hear you.
Okay. Chapin, you next?
I suppose I'm next. I'm William C. Chapin. I'm from Jackson, Michigan. And been on a few of these chats. I think most everybody here knows who I am.
Vaughn?
Hey, everybody. I'm Kurt. Vaughn Precision is the YouTube channel. My wife, Lacey, here. We're from Washington State.
And we have trains.
I know about those.
At the front door, so it's not so loud.
Oh, okay.
Hey, go ahead, Shane.
All right, my name's Shane. I'm from Southern Louisiana. I go by OP25TTFD, and I just started reloading in May.
Well, that's okay. Anybody that's watched 76 Highboy's channel knows he doesn't know how to reload, right, Highboy?
Yeah, that's right. I'm still learning.
I think I've invited Uncle Jim. We'll see how that works out. Apparently, he and I have trouble inviting each other to live streams.
We'll go with that.
And then hopefully you've figured out, this is Loads of Bacon. James, I have lived in a lot of places, and I'm just coming back from being overseas for half a year, but currently residing in Texas, and I am back in Texas. So it's good to be home, that's for sure. I don't see Uncle Jim on yet, so was chatting with Kurt there from Vaughn Precision earlier, and he had a couple of things he wanted to mention tonight. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way before the pure insanity and chaos starts. And before I forget, let me apologize to the guys in the chat. I love you being here, but with 9 or 10 guys on screen and conversation going everywhere, if we miss a comment that you're throwing out there, it's not because we don't like you, most of you. It's just chaos, and so throw it out there 3 or 4 times if you really want it to be seen. So over to you, Kurt.
All right, so we decided to do a giveaway. I just posted a video the other day on that, and we've got a fair amount of stuff, a couple $100 worth of stuff to give away. So what we were going to do is we were going to announce on YouTube when we post the video on the Reloaders Network. Now, if you go to our channel and leave a comment, you're automatically entered to win. We'll draw everybody's name out of a hat. If you're a Patreon, your name goes in twice. And so, but we're actually going to announce the winners from the Reloaders Network on a video there. So anybody who wants to, sign up for some stuff, I've got some stuff behind me. I'm a little bit hesitant to show all of it, but some of it, the grand prize is worth about $80. So it's good stuff. None of it's junk, but it's, it's just something cool that we thought we'd just kind of give back to all the community out there who's, have supported us for a long time.
Outstanding. And for those not aware, again, that's the YouTube channel is called Vaughn Precision. Also author on the Reloaders Network under the same name. But it sounded like you were willing to show a couple things tonight. Let's go ahead and start with one of those, if you don't mind.
Okay, fine. Okay, a couple, just a couple.
I see a rifle back there. That's got to be worth more than $80.
Yeah, that's my act. We're not giving that away.
Oh, come on, brother.
I see a rifle back there. We've got a couple mugs here. We got 3 of these mugs with a little, what do they call this thing? The bucket boss. So you can put all your pens and pencils and screwdrivers. It goes pretty good on the, on the reloading bench. Just quick little handy tools. Giving away the 43-piece set here from Wheeler. It's a gunsmithing set for the screwdrivers. It's got the hollow point ground screwdriver stuff on there. And, I'm not showing you anything else.
Those hollow point ground bits are so much nicer on the gun screws than...
That's a nice set you're giving away.
Yeah, I use them all the time, every day. They're a really good set. They don't mar up the screw heads and stuff. They're really good.
So I see Uncle Jim is on. That's outstanding. A nice sunset there behind him. Hey, Jim, I muted you for the second because we were getting a bunch of echo from you. I think you may end up needing your very favorite things in the world is some earmuffs there. Can I unmute him? Boy, this thing is goofy. Maybe he has to unmute himself. Does anybody know if he has to unmute himself?
No, because someone muted me and I refused to unmute myself. So.
Oh, there he's on.
Yeah, I just did.
Ah, there he goes. Yeah,
I
and we're not
just-
getting the echo, so that's working.
Yeah, that's all I could hear.
If for folks that aren't familiar with Uncle Jim, the guy hates anything in his ears, which is why he's got a silencer or suppressor on just about everything he shoots, which is awesome. I'm very envious.
Wish I lived in a state where they were legal.
Yeah, we got New Jersey on here, New York on here. I can't imagine in some of those places. People think California is bad, and then they hear about New Jersey, and California starts to look pretty free.
Yeah.
I just watched a video yesterday of someone from Maryland, what he had to go through to get his pistol permits. I mean, I don't think it took him as long as it took me, but he had to go through a lot more. He had to take like class and all sorts of stuff that I didn't have to do.
What is going on?
Before, I want to cover some of these questions that folks submitted in the comments section to the announcement to this. But before I do that, is there any other topics that folks are really itching to get to, want to make sure we get to tonight before we wander off into who knows where? Really itching to get to, want to make sure we get to tonight before we wander off into who knows where.
Yeah, we got an echo again.
Really itching to get to, want to make sure we get to tonight
Yeah,
before we wander off into
Good job, Jim. Good job. Hey, James, I've got a question for you.
Shoot.
So, I don't do casting of my own bullets, but it's something I've considered getting into. And so, what advice could you give to anybody just getting into casting their own bullets, as far as quality yet entry-level tooling, molds and pots and different things like that? What would you suggest getting into as far as that type of equipment goes?
I'm going to open that up to the whole panel. We've got a few folks on here that cast. I don't believe Highboy casts. He does shoot some cast bullets. I don't believe he casts, though. But I know Jamie and Cranky and Kenny and New York City Reloader and Uncle Jim. So we got several casters on here. So I'm going to open that up to anybody who wants to jump in here.
Uncle Jim's got an audio problem. I can chime in if you guys want.
Please do.
So my recommendation is start small. It's always good to have redundant equipment. Decide what you're going to cast for. I would cast for something, and if you're doing rifle casting, I would start with a 30 caliber. Just easier to make those bullets as opposed to start with AR-15, 223, 224 bullets. And start out with a little lead pot. Bottom pour is always the best, in my opinion. And later on, if you want to move up to something bigger than that, you can do that or add a PID to it. And, start off with some NOE molds if you'd like, or I'm a big fan of the Lee 6-cavity molds. And I cast a lot in 30 caliber and 224. So those have been really good for me. And then you have to figure out where you're going to get your lead. And, you're going to probably have to buy some super hard from Roto Metals, like the rest of us probably do. And then, start slow. Start slow. And watch videos. Watch Elvis's videos. Watch some of my videos. Watch Uncle Jim's. Everybody's got some great videos on casting online. So I would definitely do the research. Anybody else?
I would add it.
I agree. I agree with going with Lee in the beginning. I mean, I started with a lot of Lee molds in the beginning. I have some different molds now, but in the beginning, I went with a lot of the 6-cavity molds for my pistol stuff. So I think that's a good place to start too.
Then you want to get your powder coating, obviously.
You guys are pretty happy with the Lee products then?
Oh yeah, we're good stuff.
I'll give a piece of advice to Vaughn because I've watched a lot of his videos. For you, brother, what you need is a one cavity rifle mold. If you've got a one cavity mold, it takes away the variances of the different cavities. And I know how you shoot precision. So a one cavity mold will do you well.
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I was just thinking from the satisfaction of being able to have bullets in your hands pretty quickly.
Oh,
6 cavity mold makes quick work of it, you know?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I was just thinking from the satisfaction of being able to have bullets. You could get a 6 cavity mold and just fill one of them, right?
I agree with that.
We've got an echo there somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, Uncle Jim.
Oh, he's got his headphones in though.
Vaughn, if you want, we could send you bullets to you to try, so you don't have to invest in all these molds. Vaughn, if you want, we could send you bullets to you to try, so you don't have to invest in all these molds.
I'm gonna try to mute Uncle Jim just to see if that's where it is again. Not because I don't love you, brother.
Shut him down, James.
I'm gonna try to mute Uncle Jim. Yeah, that Chromebook.
Look at him shaking his head. Not very happy.
Now, for somebody looking to get into casting, I'd also add. I've seen some folks that are kind of paralyzed by wanting to analyze everything for years on end. A nice thing with casting is if what you're doing doesn't work out, you can throw it right back in the pot. You're really not losing any resource. It's not like if you buy some 2x4s to make some furniture and you cut them too short, you got to toss them out. You just toss the lead right back in the pot and try it again.
So Kenny, I couldn't understand you earlier with the echo there. What were you saying about some bullets?
Yeah, these molds kind of get kind of pricey. Not to mention, if you're starting out fresh new with casting, you don't know if you got your technique down. So I would suggest if you can get a hold of somebody that has good quality bullets and try them out and see how well they do on your rifle. That way you can kind of see the performance, and then when you get into casting, you can see the differences between that bullet and versus your cast.
Okay.
And like I said, a lot of folks here are very they're humble. They'll send you whatever you want to try out. So I would reach out to the folks here.
Cool.
Yeah, shoot me an email or shoot me a link on the Reloaders Network, and if you're shooting 30 or 223, I'll send you some.
I like it.
I have found a few folks at times offering to trade or to sample bullets in conversations on Slack. That seems to be a great place as well. Just throw it. Hey, I'm thinking about using this type of bullet. Anyone have it? Mind send me a few before I spend money on the mold.
I would probably dovetail on top of that topic if you guys don't mind, but I would probably say, if you're powder coating for rifle or powder coating for pistol, really what you have to worry about is hardness of your lead and how fast you're going to shoot those cast lead bullets. It's really the big thing. Don't just start shooting cast lead bullets like you load, full metal jackets, because then you're going to have a problem. Well,
see, now you're getting into the questions that people ask. Let me throw out one. Chicowize had commented as a folks looking to get into casting. He's curious if folks want to talk about quenching versus not quenching, the pros and cons of water quenching your cast bullets.
Great topic. I water quench for sure, and as I've mentioned on some other chats, I shoot for BHN 18 with air cooled ingots. So I know my ingots are 18 BHN, and if I water cool them, I can get them up to like 24, 28, no problem. And if I take those and I don't water cool them, or I powder coat them, lose some BHN in the powder coating process, so I can manipulate that 18 BHN up or down based on water quenching or not. So it gives you a good window.
And it's all about riding that fine line of pressure curve. You want to be at your lead tensile strength. So you want to pick a powder and the charge that will pretty much be right there at that tensile strength. You get good obturation.
Yep. Does anybody know the formula for calculating VHN and cut pressure? I figured it out the other day.
I'm not even sure exactly what cut pressure is. Isn't that what they use in Europe?
That's what we use here too. You go to the lead casting book; it's in there for each round.
Well, some of them are listed with PSI, and some are with cup, and the two are not interchangeable.
Yeah. Well, let's say PSI rather. Let's say PSI. You multiply the VHN times 1422. That'll convert it to PSI.
Now,
So
I will
14 multiplied by 1422, and there you got your pressure.
I'm curious other people's experience. I believe I found that with powder coating, the window of what's, and actually, let me read this question that JCM45 threw out. He said opinions on matching lead hardness or to bullet velocity to minimize leading and maximize performance. And I think powder coating doesn't take away the need to consider hardness, but it kind of gives a bigger window of how hard or soft versus velocity. What's your guys' experience? I've shot some pretty soft bullets that are powder coated that I didn't have any issues with. I shot them pretty fast.
We're talking about rifling. That's where the gas check can be handy. You can shoot a little bit softer with the higher pressure with those gas checks on the rifle.
Yeah, sure. I'd say 2600, 2500 to 2700 with a gas check, and you're good to go.
I've never shot anything that fast if it's cast.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on hardness versus velocity? Hey, Shane, I think we may be getting an echo from you now.
Okay. I turned the volume down. Do you still hear it?
I'm not sure. Let's see. That seems to be better. What do you think there, Curtis? Velocity versus lead hardness.
Yep, asking the wrong guy.
Well, I'm sorry. There's a Kurt and a Curtis on here. Mr. Chapin often goes by Curtis.
I kind of subscribe to the school that it's not so much the velocity, it's the pressure. So it varies by caliber.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Now, of course, I grew up in a household with a father that shot a lot of silhouette, and he just decided he wasn't going to fool around with it, and he shot a lot of straight linotype. It was readily plentiful in the day, so many times the bullets were all cast out of things that were way harder than I cast now. I'm not shooting anything high velocity right now that I cast, and I'm mostly running range scrap and a little bit of wheel weights. I do throw a little linotype in a little bit for mold fill out, but I haven't lately been fooling much around with alloy versus velocity.
I'd say if you're concerned about leading, your biggest issue is making sure your bullet is sized correctly, and that's going to be the vast majority of it. The hardness is an issue, but I wouldn't bother worrying about that until you get the size of your bullet right.
I mean, Elvis does some really good examples of rifle, 300 blackout and 223, and he's done it with powder coating them, standard powder coating that we all use, and he's getting 2,500 to 2,600 on an everyday basis without gas checks. I run them 223s in my 30 caliber on 300 blackout and 308 up to 2,700 with a gas check, and I don't have any problems. And I've shot into gel and recovered the bullets, and I could probably shoot them again if they weren't streaked a bit.
Well, that actually brings up another issue that cast bullet performance, the hardness of the alloy makes a difference in how it performs in the barrel, whether or not it's going to strip lead or not, or gas cut. But it also makes a difference at the target, the terminal performance. So your velocity, your alloy.
Hello?
That's Ozark Spirit trying to call in. So if you're shooting something other than paper, you may have to consider your alloy hardness for that purpose as well. Not why I brought it up, but somebody was curious. In fact, it was Ozark. Wanted to bring up. He's curious if anybody's loading for hunting, and if they are, what are you loading for? We're approaching hunting season in a lot of places. Highboy's been quiet over there, and he went moose hunting last year. Are you planning on hunting at all this fall?
No. I would love to hunt. I grew up as a hunter, mostly bird hunter, no waterfowl. But I have really bad asthma. So the elements, especially in fall time, don't work for me. But when our house is paid off, we're going to buy one of these things called a camp trailer. Then I will be on it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Anybody else on the panel planning to hunt this fall?
I always hunt.
Oh, yeah.
What are you loading up for the hunting season there, Jamie?
I'm going to use some of those 200 grain and 200 grain cast bullets in 35 Remington this fall. I think I'm going to be using right around a 18 to 20 and BHN hardness. I'm going to powder coat them and gas check them, and I'm still testing. If y'all been watching my series, I'm still testing the preliminary, but I think TAC has performed the best for me. This guy named Highboy talks about TAC on his
I love TAC.
I tried it in my 35 Remington and I couldn't believe it. I actually found load data for 35 Remington using the TAC. It's running out there about 2,100 feet per second with a 200 grain cast bullet. And back to your hardness question and back to what Curtis said about pressure, if anybody has Modern Reloading, 2nd edition, and Chapter 10 covers that in depth. And there's a chart on page 107, BHN hardness relative to pressure, maximum PSI. So if you want to read that, I'm not going to read it to you.
There's certainly a correlation between the two, but of course it varies based on the bore diameter and the barrel length, how much pressure it takes to fill up. And that's the kind of stuff that Quick Load uses when it calculates it. It looks at all of those volumes and comes up with the pressure estimates. So, and there's obviously a correlation between the velocity and the pressure. So you can estimate either way, I think, and there's probably some rules of thumb, but I think the better way is to think of it in pressure, but you have to have a good way to estimate what your pressure is.
In all honesty, most of the time unless I'm casting hollow points, I don't worry a whole lot about the hardness. I'm never using pure lead, but as long as it's in kind of a range, really if you're in doubt, go ahead and shoot it and see what happens. And if your barrel leads up a little bit, clean it out. It's not the end of the world. But
shoot some jacketed bullets.
Okay, but two things I'll say is this is how I look at it. I agree with the gentleman. I apologize, don't know your name. I agree it's your pressure, because velocity is actually a product of pressure, but you do kind of have to worry about it because leading, it works against accuracy and consistency of your accuracy. That's one reason. Actually, I know a lot of what you guys are talking about on the casting. That's why I go with the Oregon Trail hard cast bullets, is because they run a Brunel hardness of 24. Just so the viewers know, BHN, that stands for your Brunel hardness. And so I do think that at all costs, you do want to minimalize your leading. Some of the things that's going to happen, and I'm going to say something pretty quick here. But one of the things that happens when you have leading is one, leading can actually destroy your forcing cone. because if you get leading and you get too severe of leading, that gas has to go somewhere, and it will. And that's in between the gap in between the face of the cylinder and the forcing cone, okay? But that's your primary leading coming off from the gases escaping around that bullet. That's why I agree with James that to address leading issues, you have to, before you even go with real hardness, you have to address proper bullet size. Secondary leading will come. You can have the best bullet out there, like these Oregon Trails. I'll put these up to anybody. But if you, upon crimping, if you, on every one of your rounds, entrap that little piece of lead that's supposed to fall off, if that's trapped into there, each time that bullet goes from your face of the cylinder to the forcing cone, that's going to get trapped, and that's going to start stacking up against you. So, and a lot of that has to do with properly expanding the mouth of the case. So that's just kind of my 2 cents.
Great. And let me qualify a little bit. If a little bit of leading is not an issue, but if I'm starting out with a new load and a new bullet, I wouldn't be shooting a bunch without looking.
Yeah.
But so if you start to get a little bit of leading, go ahead and clean it out and maybe start to look at your size and your hardness and those things.
And also, just because we're going to have a big audience, okay, what the shooters and new reloaders have to understand, this rule of thumb, if you are going out and you're shooting jacketed bullets and cast bullets or plated bullets and cast bullets, you don't want to shoot your cast bullets and then follow up behind that with a jacketed. The reason is a jacketed, it has a Brunel hardness of 50. That's what a jacketed bullet's average Brunel hardness is 50 BHN. So the obturation on that BHN bullet is going to hold its structure a lot better than a cast bullet. So what the shooter wants to avoid is taking whatever you're shooting, you go out and you shoot 100 rounds of cast through your whatever it is you're shooting, then all of a sudden you follow that up with a jacket bullet. That's what causes barrels to be destroyed. And we always say you'll hear guys say you'll bulge the barrel or you can blow the barrel up, but even at least you can ruin the accuracy in a barrel. So just so the new shooters or loaders know, if you're shooting a combination of bullets, you shoot your jacketed or your plated first, and then follow up with your cast. There you go. That's all I had to say.
As far as hunting goes, I prefer to use full metal jackets. Bullets that are designed for hunting. I like my cast bullets, and I put them on paper. I use them on targets, but if I'm going hunting, I want to bring home some meat and fill up the freezer. I'm going to use a commercial bullet. Works every time.
Joe P had asked in the comments, and Kenny mentioned the gas checks earlier, and he asked a question that I have no opinion on because I don't have any experience. He said he just started loading for 308, and he wants to know if there's any thoughts or opinions on the difference between different metals in the gas checks, like an aluminum versus a copper gas check.
I haven't found any problem between the two. Both hold up equally as well as I can see. Aluminum are a lot cheaper. You can make them with the gas check maker easy too. Copper's expensive. Soda cans are cheap.
I think he's talking about aluminum creating aluminum oxide in the barrel. If you can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Yeah, I would think that aluminum oxide would be an issue, or could potentially be an issue.
You have any opinions on that, Jim?
You talking to me? Or the
no, Uncle Jim.
Oh.
How many Jims we got here? No.
Okay, I guess I go by Highboy. I'm sorry.
The only thing I'd worry about is aluminum oxide. Maybe if you cleaned it right away, turns into sandpaper, kind of. It oxidizes. It's in your barrel, and I've heard reports of people after a lot of research and gunsmiths. What happened to my match barrel? He was using aluminum gas checks. That was the conclusion, and it let's just say scratched up the barrel because of the oxidation. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that's what Bacon was getting at, maybe.
Yeah, I read about that, Uncle Jim. I think you're right about that. There is a little bit of form of oxide that does happen. Since that, I actually switched over to zinc sheeting, and I've been making gas checks out of that, and they work really good.
You were using some aluminum window blinds for a little while, weren't you, Kenny?
Actually, Willie is. He's using window blinds, but it's a little bit thicker. I'm using zinc sheeting, and before I use Miramax flashing, that was about 11,000 thickness.
I've got some 30 cal and some 44 cal gas checks, but they're just been commercially produced copper. So that's not a topic that I have an opinion on.
Yeah, it's too bad they don't make copper blinds.
Yeah, be nice.
Well, if they did, your neighbors would steal them, sell them.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
Hey, can you link everybody's channel below in the description box when we're all done here?
So,
there's a few people here I don't know, and I'd like to be able to look them up and follow them as well. Is that
absolutely? I do that for all of these.
Okay, cool.
But don't worry about me because I don't know how to reload. I'm just saying. But I do have my own website and a full reloading store, so I'll give you all a bunch of free equipment. Okay.
Oh, send it.
You got it, buddy. We'll do it.
I think there's been some discussions on match shooting too. When they say you shot 2,000 rounds down a barrel, that you start to have difficulties with accuracy after 2,000 rounds, right? Did anybody else read those articles about that?
Who was writing that?
I think I saw something on the Reloaders Network about that. I think it was in Cast Bullets Forum recently.
You'd think it'd depend on the caliber, like 243 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can speak to that a little bit. When it comes to barrel wear and inaccuracies over a certain amount of shots, it really depends on the bearing surface of the bullet going down the rifle, and it depends on the speed and pressure. And of course, it's a combination of both. The higher the pressure, the faster the speed.
Yep.
But if you shoot a moderate to just below a fast load, you can easily get 4,000 or 5,000 rounds down the rifle of your most common guns. Now, 243 is inherently a barrel burner, but I've also got a 243 that I've probably put 4,000 rounds down the tube, and it still shoots. Still shoots really good. But I'm also not pushing max. I'm shooting heavier bullets too. So if I was shooting, a 60 grain bullet or 65 grain bullet or something like that down there at, 3,500 feet a second, that would definitely wear the barrel out, and I would not get 4,000 rounds down that tube. But it really depends on how you're loading for them or what you're shooting for factory ammo.
And also, you to think about what kind of rounds you want to make. Do you want to make rounds specifically for target practice at 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards? You're going to reach out and touch something further. You don't have to drive them, and make them all screaming super hot, super high pressure rounds just because you can. You may want to save some powder. You may want to, just run them shorter if you're going to be killing paper and targets,
Well, that's a good point. And, there's kind of a misconception in the shooting community that, faster is better, and it's not. It's just not better. I'm not saying it's always a bad thing, but you can easily push, some bullets 200 feet per second slower than max speed, be extremely accurate. The standard deviation, the extreme spreads are spot on, and you can easily get lots and lots of rounds down down that tube before it wears out. But faster is not always better. Now, I have had one gun that wouldn't shoot unless I pushed it as fast as it would possibly go. But that I've only had one gun out of all the guns I've ever owned that ever did that.
Hey, Vaughn, one of the guys in the side chat here, medium speed, some drag, was curious. What about 270?
Personally, I think 270 is a good gun. It's a good caliber. The 270, in my experience, the only hang up I have with the 270 is the bullet selection when you compare it to like 243 or 30 caliber or 7mm. You get a much wider variety of bullet selection. And I'm not talking about just bullet selection. I'm also talking about the weights, right? So you've got the real low end, the real heavy end. 270 is they just don't have that big broad spectrum. However, what they do have is pretty good. But I would consider, if I personally was going to do a 270, I would do a 270 Ackley, just to stop that K stretch on there.
For folks that aren't aware, Vaughn Precision, not only YouTube and Reloaders Network channel, but he's also a gunsmith. So while a bunch of us stare down barrels, he actually does work.
He's an excellent cook as well, I might add.
Thank you, sir.
Outstanding. Lever Action Gypsy was one of the comments he threw up. He was curious, both folks on the panel as well as in the side chat, curious what works best for powder coating for the different brands and colors of powder coat, what's worked, what hasn't. And Full Taco followed that up and said, if you could only pick one powder coat, which one would it be?
I'm in love with powder by the pound. Mirror green is just amazing.
Yeah, I saw some of those that you did. Those look beautiful. I don't know how they perform, but they look beautiful.
Sub them away on everything I shoot. Good stuff.
Cranky dropped off. I think I still saw him over in the side chat. I don't know. He's done some powder coating and some high tech, but the high tech have a different look to them. What about you, Kenny? I've seen you play with a few different colors. What's been the good and bad of your experience, and what would be your one go-to?
My go-to right now is the lime green from Eastwood. I really like that powder. It coats good for my alloys. And I tried the Harbor Freight ones when I first started powder coating, and like everybody said,
hey, what you doing?
It has a issue coating. I would say powder by the pound's a good one. The mirror green, I tried a little bit of it. It works really good. We got, like NYC said. But my go-to right now is my lime green.
I've never used anything powder by the pound. Not opposed to it, but everything I've used been Eastwood or Harbor Freight. I've heard good things about powder by the pound.
Yeah, we need to definitely have a section up there just to show what we're loading and create a gallery or something.
Actually, there's an area in Slack specifically for showing off cast and powder coated bullets.
Yeah, but it goes away though. It's the problem, right? Eventually, it spins off.
It does.
We put it on the Reloaders Network, a separate page just for powder coating, so we can say this is what the powder we use, this is what the picture looks like, and this is the temperature and time that we cooked it at.
Yeah, we could do that.
That way, it doesn't spin away after a while. Because there was some really good powder stuff on the Reloaders Network, and some bullets and some galleys and stuff, but they have since aged out.
I had a weird experience with mixing the matte black from Harbor Freight with the lime green. They seem to make a kind of a harder coating for some reason. Yeah. I'm not sure if anybody else has had that same situation, but 300 blackout, I know for sure it's harder.
Yeah, I got my leftover powder cup where I throw all my different powders in, and threw some Harbor Freight in there, and I kind of got the rid results too. It was really hard powder coating. So after I'm done with Harbor Freight, I usually toss it into a separate powder, separate bin just for Harbor Freight Red. It's the only one I get. That seems to be worth a damn anyway. I heard black is good, but I haven't really done anything with it. In my preppers area, I have about 6 cans, 6 little 1 pounders of Harbor Freight, just in case, you know. If I have to powder coat and I can't get anything, I can use that. But I usually use the premium stuff from either Eastwood or from Powder by the Pound. They're green. You know, their blue is good too. Their dark blue is nice.
Has anybody found a white or a yellow powder that is worth using?
I have not. I'd love to, but I haven't.
This is a family channel. Don't talk about white powder that's worth using.
Well, if you get it at Harbor Freight, you know.
That is a useless powder coat. I haven't even seen it in a piece of metal. I tried powder coating a piece of metal just to see if I could do it, you know, and put it in my toaster oven and cook it, and it didn't come out very good. So I don't know.
Well, any of you guys that don't like the Harbor Freight Red, you're free to send it to me. I have very good results with it. I've come up with a couple of tricks that make it adhere a little bit quicker, and you know, if you ask me my favorite powder, I guess I'd probably say Harbor Freight Red. I also like the Ford Light Blue like everyone else does. And then I have a friend up the street that has a powder coating business, and he gave me that sample of that lime green, and I don't even know what manufacturer that was, but boy, did that was really a good powder. It worked real well.
Yeah. I was going to say that if you're ever wondering what powder you should get, what I've done is I took a box of bullets and I went to my local powder coating place, and I just tried what they had. If they're willing to sell it, you can get a little batch and see what it works for you, and then walk away with a little baggie full of powder.
Yep.
Now we're talking about little baggies of powder. We're in trouble.
So I'm curious, has anybody ever used Bayou bullets before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I've got a couple pounds of them. Well, a lot of pounds of them. They seem to work pretty good for me, but it seems like it'd be pretty easy to duplicate what they make for probably less money.
Are those cast or jacketed, or what kind of bullets? I've heard the name, but I can't remember what they sell.
They are. They're just a powder coated bullet. Oh my!
Okay.
Oh my! It's the Great White Hunter.
That was a good looking grouse there.
He said that's a good looking grouse.
Thanks.
Okay, James, it's time for a demo.
What are you demoing? Oh, time for Vaughn to demo.
I'm gonna do a demo. I'm gonna demo case lube. Everybody has their little case lube thing. I've watched Taco. I couldn't do what Taco does with the lathering the stuff on, but I use an atomizer in the Lee case lube that everybody talks so badly about. Dilute it with isopropyl alcohol that you just buy at CVS. Now it separates out. You can see that it's separated out, but if you give it a little shake, shakes right up. Okay, so there it is. So I just got this little plastic tray, and I'm going to dump in 100 223s. 100 of them. And here's how much I'm going to use. I'm going to go 1, 2. That's all I'm going to do.
I muted him.
Oh, thanks.
All right, we'll bring him back here.
I'll turn off the volume while I'm shaking.
I muted you for a second there, but you're back.
You can let them dry or not let them dry either way, and that's all you got to do, and you're done. And it wipes off really easy, too. So
that was about half isopropyl alcohol, and what was the other half?
It's the Lee lube in the tube. This stuff here that no one likes, that they all throw it away. Just dilute it with isopropyl alcohol.
I don't throw away because it works so good. This stuff here.
Yeah, I love this stuff. Everybody seems to badmouth it, and they all say you got to go buy lanolin or you got to buy this or that or the other.
No, I've got several tubes. This is good stuff.
And it's not like hoarding one shot. I don't have to wait for it to dry.
And then doing it that way, you know, when you're done, you just put the lid on that, and that's the only thing you use that for. That's a really good way to do that.
I use the fake Dylan lube to lube my bullets, lube my cases and such. That seems to do a really good job. It's cheap to make. The lanolin and the heat.
I bought some lanolin to make up the lanolin lube everyone was talking about, and I didn't order the liquid stuff.
You got a microwave it.
What did you get? How did it come?
Hey, Shane, we're still getting an echo from you. Oh, it came as like a paste.
Yeah, right.
I think one of the best lubes I've used as far as rifle cases go is this unique case lube here from Hornady. This stuff is really good. The downside is it's you got to use your fingers and wipe it all over everything. It's not like what Curtis was using with the spray, which is way more convenient. But for rifle cases, necked rifle cases, this stuff is amazing.
I got some.
I second Vaughn.
I
second Vaughn that. This stuff is awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's vinyl gloves. Get vinyl gloves, get a glop of it, and go to town. Throw those vinyl gloves away. You're good to go.
Yep. Just dab a little in a baggie and rub it around.
Anybody else using the fake Dylan lube like I am or no?
If I remember right, Johnny, I see Johnny's reloading bitches over here in the comments. I think he did the same thing I did. He bought the lanolin. It wasn't liquid stuff, and so it separates out, but it was still working. I haven't gotten around to mixing it up though.
Yeah, that's what I did, Bacon, with heat, and just keep it warm, and it's fine.
What's the fascination with the heat? I just use the isopropyl alcohol. Is the heat got some other additives that you guys like, or is it?
It's 100% alcohol, no water in it. Like
it's
70%
cheap.
Or 80%.
It's cheap.
Yeah, and it's cheap too.
It's cheaper than just buying isopropyl.
Yeah, 99 cents, or you get a bottle of 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cheap. I didn't realize there was a price advantage. But I use a lot of different stuff. I use the dry neck lube, this stuff here. I use all kinds of different stuff.
I used to use the paste, and I used to use the unique. I used them all.
I've used a bunch to do the RCBS case slick and the Lee and the Hornady. It all works it all works good. I still think, at least for rifle cases though, this Hornady unique is just the cat's meow for rifle cases.
Yeah,
but
I agree. That's a good go-to, the unique, and then if you make your own for everything else. But works great.
What do we got for comments on there,
nice
James?
And shiny too.
What's that?
The Dylan lube keeps my bullet cases shiny too. So it's so compatible. You don't have to.
Well, and as we know, with wet tumbling and other things, shiny bullets are happy bullets, and happy bullets fly faster. Anybody ever wonders why we want shiny brass? It's because happy bullets fly faster.
I tried the Dylan lube, and my cases all turned blue. I didn't care for that.
What were you asking, Vaughn?
Oh, what do we have for comments? I can't see the comments on here, so I'm just curious what's happening out there in the community. Anything good?
Oh, there's a lot of comments, and I haven't been able to catch most of them.
JCM makes fake Dylan lube, whatever that is. Gonna have to do a video on that.
Yeah. The one shot Hillbilly Sniper brought up a good point. Some of that stuff doesn't work. If you don't get enough on there, you will get a stuck case. And I've had numerous stuck cases. And if you have RCBS dye, that is a pain in the butt to get out.
Yep.
I did that once.
I used to use the one shot for a while, and when I went on a progressive reloader with one shot, I used to get a lot of stuck cases, and I don't know why, but I did. Anytime I get a stuck case, I was using the one shot. So I switched to Dylan lube. I haven't had a stuck case in 3 years now, so I'm pretty happy with that. Where I couldn't get a reloading session done without getting a case stuck before.
I had the one shot for a while, never had any issues with it. But there was a video or two recently, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with the channel Totally Brown, but he had some hilarious videos making fun of One Shot after he ran into an issue or two with it.
Yeah. I don't criticize anybody's method because it's
I remember that video.
Right?
He was using it for like lube on the door jams and all kinds of stuff. It was funny.
He was.
Hey, I have a question. Who's from Washington? Is it the couple in the picture?
That's
And
me.
where are they?
No, that's Kurt Vaughn there, Vaughn Precision.
You're from Washington? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Washington.
Oh no, I'm from Western. I'm from Olympia.
Oh, okay. I got an uncle down south of there. So when did you move over here? Or
What's that?
Are you still in Washington?
Yeah.
I thought you were Utah. I thought you lived by Taco. Wow. Okay.
No, we own some property in a small cabin down in the Uinta Mountains, just south of Evanston, Wyoming, across the Utah border. So, no, we're down there, once in a while. But in fact, I got off the phone a little while ago with Logan from West Desert Shooter. We're gonna hunt. We're gonna hunt the Uintas next October, not this coming October, but the following year. So we'll go down there and hang out in the Clampett's cabin and see if we can kill something.
You should be able to find something. Okay, I always thought you were from Utah. Okay.
No, my wife was. She was born in Utah, but not me. I'm from the rainy state.
All right.
Well, the rainy side of that state, anyway.
Well, right. Yeah, not the dry side.
Just stay away from the north and you'll be okay. The Seattle area.
Yeah, don't get me anywhere near Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Salt Lake's kind of the same thing, though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, stay away from there, too.
I was just down through Salt Lake this summer.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, driving crazy.
So a couple people in the comment section brought up. I saw the last Georgia shooting connection. I didn't see the entire thing, but apparently a conversation came up there about storing brass that's pre-primed, and issues that may or may not arise from that. Did any of you catch that? It's a couple of our comments wanted us to continue that discussion, but I didn't see the original discussion.
Yeah, there's all these controversies now. First you had powder coat. Then you had PC Bullet Empire with the stirring your lead and the primer thing. And there was one more. So my comment was I usually prime as I go and don't do that. But I have no idea. In a moist climate, if you get moisture in there, I don't know.
Well, I can kind of speak to that a little bit. Because, well, I'm in a moist climate. I've got some 6.5 Creedmoor brass here that I primed a year ago, and it's in a bullet hold, a bullet case, or here, I'll just show you. So I've got all these here. These are all primed. And then I keep these inside of a Rubbermaid tote, and I've been able to pull these out, load them up, shoot them, no problem at all. Just keep them out here in the shop in basically a double case storage, and I don't have any issues, never have.
Majority of the brass that I load has been pre-primed and sitting in a Rubbermaid tote as well, sitting on the bench. Some of it for a day or two, some of it for a few months. And now all of it for at least 6 months.
Didn't JCM at one point do the video about how he had primers that were like 20-some years old that had issues?
I'm not sure if those were pre-primed brass or not. Don't remember.
My input on prime cases. My father he would always want to stay ahead of the game. I mean, when he was loading shot shells, his progressive machines would always be in process of, you know, everything would be full. Well, you know, one case would have the powder and so on, and you know, so he always kept that stuff going. One of the things he would always do was prime thousands of cases. He always had thousands of cases primed, and in his last 10 years, he didn't do a lot of metallic cartridge reloading. So he brought me like thousands of cases that have been primed for forever and ever and ever. And I still have a few of, I think, some 38 caliber cases, 44 mag cases. I haven't shot them because I don't know if he put if he put Magnum or what in them, but they're capable of shooting. But of all the ones I shot, I've never had any problem. And one of the things I will say, one of the things that I'll say about primers is what they do is there's a very thin, clear coating that they put over that priming compound. It keeps the moisture out. So I guess my question would be, is what's the difference from a primer sitting in the package versus the primer pocket of the case? The difference would be is now you've changed the cup pressure of the cup. It's you puckered it in there, so to speak. So I suppose that could upset that clear coating, but I haven't seen any issues with thousands of cases myself. But then again, I don't have rust problems on my equipment like some guys do that are in very humid areas. So I'll leave it there. I'm going to look. I got some primers, some older primers. Let me get them, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think it's climate, because I have 22 from the 60s that most of all of it goes off, and M1 Grand from the 30-06 from the 50s that always goes off. So I just think it's how you store it, whether it's the primer or the loaded ammo.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with storage. You know, I've never, I've had a bad batch of primers before, but I've never had a primer either hang fire or fail to fire because of them being, the cases being primed, you know, 2 years prior to me ever actually loading them. They've gone off every time. I'm not saying you don't get a bad primer now and again, but you would think if moisture was to, you know, disrupt the primer in some fashion, that you'd have, you know, if I loaded 100 cases, that maybe I would have, you know, 20, 30, 40% or something that didn't fire. But that I've never had that happen.
That's right. I think that's kind of the key. I can't find the primers. There's some primers that I think they're going back into the 70s, and I actually fired a few, and they fired just fine. But I mean, if you think about it, this is just kind of my opinion. And let me reposition my webcam, because I just realized nobody can really see me. That's why I don't work for Hollywood. Well, plus I'm conservative, so I couldn't work for Hollywood. But anyway,
well, if you worked for Hollywood, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I would, because I will come back. I will come back to you guys with more free reloading equipment for you. But anyway, if priming your cases and letting them sit for whatever duration you want to call, if you only had one that created a hang fire or didn't ignite, then that's not enough of an argument to say that was from time. You would have, like, when things fail, when you have a product that fails because of time, it's kind of like this. Let's use milk as an example. Milk has an expiration date. Well, guess what? Past that expiration date, all milk, on average, begins going bad. Some will last longer, and that's how I see the primers. But what I would say is this, and I've always believed this, is Reloader, if he has a problem with his primer not firing, he'll blame it on his gun every time he gets. So I think the responsibility of a primer not igniting, I would say, it's probably they're either not seating past flush deep enough like they should, or they're priming so hard that they're changing the anvil tension, and so they're not getting ignition. That's what I would say.
Completely right, but you made me think of the question. Stuff has expiration dates on it, but how does sour cream have an expiration date? Isn't it already turned? Anyway, what were you saying, Kenny?
Oh yeah, Chicowize brought up that video I was talking about. It's T-Max. And, he did a test through a chronograph and found high extreme spread numbers. I mean, this is for shooting long range, of course, and standard deviation numbers. And it makes sense because primers with nitroglycerin base, and then after a certain amount of years, it starts breaking down.
Yep. I try to store all my powders and primers in a Ziploc bag with some, those gel packs or those moisture muncher packs, or get some moisture muncher in there and store them in a nice, cool, dark place. Suck all the air out of them before I put them in the Ziploc, and I get good long shelf life with them.
New York City, I gotta say, with the cigar, you look gangster.
Forget about
it. Over here.
I see, as I glance over the side chat, one of the guys I see there is Dayatherange. Not a channel I've seen discussed, but I came across him recently. When he contacted me and said he wants to be an author at the Reloaders Network, showing up there under the name of Mr. Revolver, and just had a couple posts show up today with 10 mil and some revolvers. So there's a lot of folks here in the side chat that have got some great content, but that's one that folks may not be familiar with yet. So be sure to check him out.
Repeat that name again, James, if you would.
On YouTube, he shows up as Dayatherange.
Dayatherange. Okay, I'll look him up. And
on the Reloaders Network, you'll see some posts today under the name of Mr. Revolver. I think we've gone through most of the questions I received. One of them, Thomas Pickering, was curious how to encourage. I'll read it kind of the way he wrote it here. How to encourage authors to first post at the Reloaders Network and only then to YouTube. He wants to see content on the Reloaders Network first. Forget YouTube, he says. I think part of that is on the viewers. I think if viewers start commenting more on the Reloaders Network, and they start telling the content creators, hey, I'd like to see your stuff there, the content creator is going to be a little more inclined to oblige.
So, James, can we take just a couple minutes and talk about the Reloaders Network?
Would love to.
Okay.
As long as you say nice things, because I have soft feelings now.
Oh, okay. Well, we're done. Moving on. Just kidding. So I'm trying to find a way to, and I am probably the worst offender. I just haven't simply had the time to go and copy all the links and post stuff and write little articles and stuff like that. I'm getting more time now that I'm back, but I'm trying to find ways to help drive traffic that way, because it is a good place and people can post full-length videos and people can not be afraid of, did they step on YouTube's toes? And even if you're within their guidelines, sometimes they spank you because it's all about, somebody's interpretation. But I do think that as a YouTube community, we all need to sort of band together and figure out how we're going to continue moving forward to drive that traffic over there for the real, true, hardcore reloaders and shooters. And I'm not saying that we're all going to stop watching YouTube, and we're all not going to stop going to YouTube, UGEtube, in places like that. But I do think that we all really should probably think about how can we all, as a group, start getting more sponsorship, more attention to the Reloaders Network, so that we can make that a very successful platform, no matter what happens with the YouTube and stuff that censor us and slap our hands every time we do something that may or may not be right.
I appreciate that. And I don't want to get back to that, but Johnny's reloading bench through, and I don't want to miss this. He apparently Chapin really needs to show him something, and so he wants me to put the picture on Chapin. So I'll throw you up on the screen, Chapin. He wants to see it, man. So Chapin's gonna hog the screen here, but we can keep talking about whatever.
I'm probably as guilty as anybody. About a month ago on a live chat, we all kind of lassoed Johnny into a 300 Win Mag. And now he's on here and he's asking about a specific tool that a fellow makes for sizing the belted Magnum cases. And the company we're going to talk about here is Innovative Technologies. The guy's name is Larry Willis. And I stumbled across this tool and bought one because I'm a 350 Remington Magnum shooter. And anything that I can do to extend my brass life is good. I have a very large stash. I'm sure that I have more 350 Rem Mag new brass than probably anybody, but I'm still rather fond of it. So this is the tool, and what it does is a die, and it uses a split collet to squeeze the body of the case rather than running a die down onto the body of the case. And it's pretty neat because one of the things they do is they include a gauge in the top of it to see if you even need to resize the case or not. So these are brand new 350 Rem Mag cases. I have no idea how the size is on them. So I'm going to plunk one in here and we'll see how it works. And it goes all the way to the belt. So that means it does not need to be sized. It will chamber. It doesn't check headspace. You still have to check the headspace. Most shooters nowadays, even on the belted mags, they'll headspace from the shoulder to keep your brass life good. If you oversize the case and headspace off the belt and the case stretches every firing, you're putting unnecessary wear on it. So ideally, you'd like to headspace off the shoulder but have real light contact with the belt, and that's the best of both worlds. So we'll try another one. This one, again, goes all the way to the belt, so it's fine. Now this is fired brass from my Ruger 77 350 Rem Mag. We'll see what these do. And Uncle Jim, you'll appreciate this brass. This is the brass that was used in the shooting of your video.
I was going to say I think we lost Uncle Jim, but we didn't lose him. We lost the light.
Now, someone asked in the channel a minute ago, Johnny asked and somebody else was talking about it too, is bulge above the belt real? This is out of my 350 Rem Mag, and yes, it is spread right above the web where it gets thinner. You need to get it sized there, and when I drop it in this gauge, sure enough, it does not go all the way in. Okay, so the way this die works is you take this case, you put case lube on it, and then this collet goes over the brass, and it goes this way, and you shove this all the way down to the belt, and then this goes in your press, and you use it like a normal die, and then you run this up in here. Now, the inside of this is tapered at the same taper as the body of the case, and then collet in there takes up the difference, and it squeezes the base of that case down, and after you do it, then it will go in the gauge. If we need to actually, if Johnny needs to see more, I can actually lube one up and do it. But I've got
kind of like we call it neck die, but for the butt end of the case.
Very, very much so. You know, and you can see here the comparison of the, for a 350 Rem Mag, it gets all of the body because a 350 Rem Mag is probably the shortest belted Magnum. And then here's some 7mm Magnums. These are from pick these up used, and I don't know if they'll go in here or not either, but yeah, that one indeed will not go in, and you can visibly see where the case is expanded right above. It's the belt is there, and then maybe 50 thousandths above the belt where the case head, where the web starts to thin out, you can see that that's where the brass has expanded.
So I have a question about that die. If it's like a Lee collet die, is it split into petals?
I don't know if you can see it, Kurt, but the way it's done is it's got alternating slits in it. This slot goes from this end, the next slot goes from this end, and then this slot goes from this end. So I suppose maybe what you're going to ask next is, does it make marks on the body of the case because of those slits? And I think in Larry's instructions, he says that you can rotate it if you're worried about that or whatever. I've not found any ill effects at all on my brass from it. I think the way that it squeezes, it doesn't move that much, so I don't think you get any upsetting of the brass into the slits.
And that's exactly where I was going with it. Does it leave? Because like the Lee Collett die, which by the way I'm a huge fan of, but if you run it on like the RCBS Case Master or the any of those concentricity tools, you'll see little bumps in the gauge. Yeah. As you're rotating it. I was curious if that was the case when you run that case through there, if you're actually getting kind of highs and lows around that case.
Well, I'll throw one of these 7 mags in here and go ahead and do it, and we'll see how it comes out. Now, he gives pretty explicit instructions on setting it up.
Hey, Kurt, somebody was asking for the name of that again.
It's the company is Innovative Technologies. I don't know if my camera's showing that good enough. And the gentleman's name is Larry Willis, and his website is larrywillis.com. Says now you can reload belted Magnum cases up to 20 times. Well, I think I've probably been there. It's a neat tool, and he recommends. He also sells a fancy headspace gauge. It's like a fork tool that goes on an indicator, which it's kind of clever. But I use all kinds of different tools, and that's
Highboy has demonstrated a gauge that looks a lot like what I think that picture was from, I believe, from Reading.
I'll go ahead and mount this up here. I think it's a number 5 shell plate, if I remember right.
Number 5, it's 7mm.
Yeah, that'd be the same.
While you're doing that, there was somebody in the side that wanted to get back to that discussion of kind of marketing of the Reloaders Network.
I'll go find a number 5 shell holder, and we can take a break from this for a bit.
So watching the traffic numbers, and right now, August and September, the numbers are a little bit lower than they were in June and July. June and July, we were getting about 1,600 page views a day. Right now, we're getting probably 1,200 to 1,400 page views a day. But then when I've seen the numbers go way up, it's been when somebody offers something at the Reloaders Network that's kind of exclusive to there, whether it's an article, they have a YouTube video that says, hey, there's a lot more info over here. There's pictures, there's that sort of thing. There's been some folks that have done giveaways, and that's driven some traffic to the Reloaders Network. We've got probably about 1,200 people registered on the website right now. We've got close to 60 authors and probably about 50 of those that have posted articles. We're sitting about 750 posts on the website now.
Nice.
I've got a company that mailed me a package yesterday that should be here in a day or two, and I'll be contacting all the authors about that to see if they want to mention it on their channels. But it's a giveaway for it'll be the Reloaders Network giving it away, and it'll probably be something along the lines of, come comment on this post if you're interested in this giveaway. There's a couple things for a couple specific firearms. So, if you're interested, mention which one you have. And we're now selling a little bit of merchandise on the website. We still have the coffee mugs and the patches and a few of the polo shirts. There'll be a lot more merchandise coming in the future. Thor's Axe has been working with the folks in Russia. For those that haven't seen it, he has a couple molds he got from shotgun slugs, and they take a specific wad. And right now, we have a bunch of those wads coming, and we'll be selling those on the Reloaders Network.
Very cool.
Nice. James, thanks for that link the other night too. We've been playing around with some different T-shirt designs and stuff too. So I think we'll shortly, and I'll be in contact with you on the side about getting some T-shirts up on that the merchant's link there. And I'm going to go over and have 50 more copies of the Savage Rifle Build DVD series set up too, and I think we'll go ahead and market those over there too. In fact, I think when we do that, we're going to do kind of a promotional sale on those, like half price. So I'll do a video on YouTube as well, so hopefully that'll drive some more traffic over there, and we'll see what happens. I guess it's all we can do is try, right?
Absolutely. And if folks want it, it'll be available for them. So
yeah.
Live in Cincy wants to know if I have links to the Russians. Only through Thorzak's, brother. Also, I'm going to throw out while we're chatting here that I've had a couple of folks contact me recently about becoming an author at the Reloaders Network. Absolutely. I have not turned down anyone that's asked. So email, Slack, whatever it takes. If you're interested, get a hold of me and we'll get you set up.
You should say that you turn down some people sometimes. So we don't.
No, I'm looking forward to it. It just hasn't happened yet.
I think also, James, we're and I haven't finished the channel yet, or even started on, to be honest. With the ballistics, we have a lot of articles written, like professional articles written by people who can actually write really well, not me.
I understand that. I resemble that remark.
But I'm going to be asking for for basically a Word document style copy of the article, that the same articles that get published in magazines and things like that under ballistics, that we can post those same articles on the Reloaders Network as well.
Kurt, are you still involved with the ballistics AE?
Oh yeah.
So I could really use some guidance on that. It's not been intuitive for me.
Yeah, in fact, I just posted a YouTube video just today on the ballistics YouTube channel. But absolutely, if you need any help at all, it's Vaughn Precision at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Give me your phone number. We can talk over the phone. I'll walk you through whatever you need to walk through, and we'll get you up and running. It's no big deal. And then we do have on our website on ballistics. There's a kind of a manual. It's just sort of a beginner's type guide. And then we're shooting a lot more videos. We're going to shoot a total of 18 videos this year for the ballistics website. Very, very specific stuff. So the one I posted today was LOS, which is line of sight, and some of the calculations that are involved in that. And so, yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to help you out, or anybody else is watching for that matter. If you have any questions, if you have the app or are interested in it, just email me at vaughnprecision@gmail.com and I'll get back to you.
Perfect. And posting those articles there would be awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because they're real professional written articles. They go in all the Gun Digest and big time shooter magazines and Safari Club and all that kind of stuff. So they're usually very well written, very informative. So I thought that'd be a good place to post some of those.
Somebody's asking for your other channel's name again.
If you just go to YouTube and type in ballistic app, it's you can't miss it. You just can't miss it. Now,
and
ballistic app. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of the website and content, it is the Reloaders Network, but you can stretch that if you want. And when you shove new magazine in your firearm, hey, you're reloading, right? So it's not. That was a name that the community came up with, and I like it. But it's really, the website's covering reloading, casting, but also firearms, shooting sports. We don't do a whole lot of politics there. There's a lot of other sites that are a lot better at that. But it's not just reloaders.
Can we keep it non-political, James? Can we keep it
that
way?
The plan. Nope. We're keeping it 95% at least non-political. There'll be the occasional, but that's about it. And there's been a lot of requests to keep it that way, and I agree.
Yeah, let's not get politics involved. That'll just ruin it.
I like politics, but like I said, there's better places for those discussions.
Exactly.
What about weird? Can we have weird?
Oh, we got a bunch of weird.
Well, Jim's already on there, so we're covered.
Yeah, Jim's on there.
Just asking.
Remember, Jim, I need my safe space.
What are you working on over there, Highboy?
I'm working up some loads for one of my 44 Magnums, a 3-screw, a really nice 3-screw. And I'm running 10 different loads, and I'm hand weighing and charging each case to the 10. So, and I'm going in increments of 0.4 of a grain. So that's what I'm doing. Hey, am I making too much noise? Because I can stop.
There was a while on the other press where I just muted you because you weren't talking and it was kind of noisy. But
oh,
usually it's Eagle Eye that's building something in a video.
Well, he's been muting himself tonight.
Well, I don't know how to mute myself. How do I do that?
I don't. I see Kenny's finger reach towards the screen and then the mute symbol comes up.
Yeah. I almost went live at the range. I think that would have been kind of funny.
Kenny can remodel a room in one video, live.
Well, in all honesty, some of Jim's live streams go 4 to 8 hours. So
weird.
You can do a lot in 4 hours.
Jim has proven that after 8 hours, YouTube will cut you off.
Never again. Never again.
Well, let me turn to the side chat real quick and throw out. Let's plan to be done with this in the next 30 minutes. So in reality, probably 45 to 50. But we'll plan on 30 more. So if there's any more topics you guys want to bring up or further discuss that we've already talked about, I'm going to look at the side chat here and see if there's anything from the folks in the chat that they want to ask or mention or bring up as well.
James, if Johnny's still there, I'm ready to run a couple of these cases.
Let's run them, man. Let's see what they got.
Okay, so these are a couple of 7mm mags. And you guys see the press over here?
Yep.
Okay, so if you go on the top, it doesn't go all the way to the belt. It's bulged. Same thing here. So we'll lube them, and I am using the unique case lube.
Sweet.
So we'll butter them up a little bit. I'm not going to use the taco method where I use it like Gojo hand cleaner.
Gojo's good stuff.
Now, quick question: is case lube even required since it's just squeezing and not sliding into the die?
Well, we can try one that way. His instructions say use he pretty clear says use. What does it say? Use plenty of imperial sizing die wax for best results.
There you have it.
Always
Okay.
Imperial sizing die. That's what I use. I love it.
It's the one this unique is a pretty close facsimile thereof. Okay, and then just for good measure, because this is dry, I'll put a little on the inside of the collet there. The business, and then you slide this guy over it like so, all the way down to the belt. There it is. Put it in the shell holder, and then you just kind of squeeze it enough to get it to drop through. So we don't have to kill it. You just run it up in there, and there it is. That's probably enough. Let's check it.
Now, Johnny's saying that the instructions say to use the press to get the collet off, so he's curious about seeing that.
use the press to get the collet off. I didn't catch that part. I suppose you could probably, how would you do that? I've always just done it like this, which maybe there is a better way. There, now that goes all the way now.
And what was the name of that die company again? Because I got to look them up and send them an email.
It's Innovative Technologies is the name of the company. And the gentleman's name is Larry Willis. And the website is larrywillis.com. He's in Castleberry, Florida.
Larry's going to hear from me. I'd like to try that out.
Yeah, and I'll wipe the case lube off this and see if we got any significant marking on there. I hadn't, I'm pretty fussy about my brass, but you can tell it's had a tool on it, but it didn't hurt it. I mean, it looks better than they do when they come out of the chamber.
Right.
Let's go ahead and run another one. See how I already glued that. So then here we go. I'll try to get it on the first run this time. Probably about right there.
The massager too, isn't there?
I put a little bit on the outside of the collet, so there's probably some residual in there. Yep, all the way to the belt. That's good to go.
Hey, Curtis, while you're doing the Robin Snodgrass is asking if you ever compare case length before and after sizing with a bulge like that.
I haven't on this brass. I mean, I do this and then I bump the shoulder. So I mean, I guess I do check the stretch kind of sort of. I don't think I've measured it before and after. It would be an interesting test. I could get a comparator and do that. All right, Kurt, quick. What diameter comparator do I need for 7 mag? 440? 440?
I forget.
It's the 400.
I know it's the number 5 shell plate, though.
What are you working on over there, Jamie?
40 Smith & Wesson. I got something interesting.
Need the number E or the letter E.
I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Chicowize may be out there. He needs to know what the Glock smile looks like. Can y'all see that?
Oh, it's a happy face.
Yeah. That's after it's sized. But all my pistols in 40 are supported chambers. So
that's somebody else's brass?
Yeah, I think Willie Bulletman sent me this. Y'all know how he is about his Glocks.
I don't have the right comparator insert, so I'll have to use a Wilson gauge. I have a 7mm Wilson gauge I can use.
Are you guys annealing as well or no? I anneal almost all my brass.
I have never annealed. I've eyeballed that anneals machine several times, and Thorzak's put up a pretty good video on that. And then Bolt Action Reloading put up a video on another annealing machine. I think I'm just interested because they look like neat gadgets, and I like gadgets.
Yeah. I anneal all the time, constantly.
Yeah. I mean, my 308, my 300, and my 223s, I all anneal. And on my 223s, I've got 20 reloads on the cases now. Still no problems, no issues. Since I started annealing, I haven't had any split case necks, so I don't have any donor cases for my 300 blackout, so I had to cut up some perfectly good cases the other day. I was pretty sad about that.
Okay, we'll do hillbilly headspace on this one because so this number doesn't mean anything. It's just going to be a reference. We'll see how much it changes. So this case here, it will not pass the test, it needs to be sized. So we'll drop it into the gauge, and I'll just measure the overall length to the other end of the gauge. This looks like 2.520. So we'll write that down because I know I'll forget. And we'll lube it up.
I knew I should have brought some reloading gear to the campsite.
Preacher's Day Off is here. It's too bad it's virtual. I'd like to get into some of that pork butt that he just smoked and barbecued up.
Yeah, that made me hungry.
Okay, it goes. We sized it enough. Okay, Bert, are we giving out an award for who guesses how much it changed?
2.519.
I better measure this again. It sounds like a setup to me. You used one of these tools before?
Never have.
I'm struggling just a little bit because the flat on the caliper is just a tiny bit bigger, so you got to get right on there.
Oh, come on, just let me win this one.
Changed 1,000 at the most. It's actually it's within the realm of my ability to measure it. I've been able to get 2.5205, and I've managed to get 195. So I would guess it didn't change. It's within the realm of my ability to measure it.
Yeah, so in essence, it's pretty untouched, really.
Yep. The case looks fine. I mean, you can tell that it's been in a tool, but it's nothing serious. It's probably less marking than shoving it in and out of a sizing die. So I think it's a good tool.
Lever Action Gypsy is asking, if you can't afford the annealing machine, is it advisable to just use Templac with a shallow water pie dish and spin a Lazy Susan?
No, use a depending on the size of case you're shooting, just use a 14mm socket with a propane torch, 5 seconds, quench it in water, you're done. That's probably the best way to do it if you don't have a machine.
Well, whatever rifle these 7 mags were shot in is pretty consistent because this one's right on the same number. It's right on 20 again. So let's crush another one.
I got to see if they'll send me one to test. Put up a video on that. That actually sounds very interesting. So tell Johnny's Reloading Bench, hold off on your email to them. Let me be first.
What you guys need is monkey butt.
That's
Uncle
the hand
Jim,
cream, isn't it?
I get plenty of monkey's butt at the fires. I don't need any more monkey's butt.
Uncle Jim, I'm pretty sure that I can load up some 350 Rem mag that'll give you monkey butt.
Uncle Jim, do you anneal at all?
Yes. Yes, I do.
What's your method for that?
I use
every Sunday he anneals at church.
Oh.
That's bad.
The easiest method is by hand. You can feel when it gets warm and look at it and everything. And I also use a little carousel. Mainly for 300 blackout when I'm forming brass.
Yeah, makes sense.
How about you, Highboy? Are you a brass annealer?
I will be. And that's like, I want to cast my own bullets as well. But it's just money. That's all it is, you know.
Well, you guys reload 300 blackout. I found a really good source for donor cases. They have those blank 2 to 3 cases, and they sell them practically giving them away. So I've been buying a bunch of those lately.
I use this. I got the Annealy's machine here. This thing works amazing for the price point. This thing, I use it all the time. That thing is awesome.
Wife bought me one for my birthday. I've been using it like crazy.
Yeah, that's the same one Thorzax has too. Now, bolt action reloading is a different one. It seems like his might have come out of Australia or something, but
yeah, he's got one of it's a coil style.
You do a bunch of computer programming to really tweak it too.
Right,
yeah,
right.
He has the amp annealer, the Nearly Made Perfect. It's really good. Actually, I just bought one on the way. And it's from New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. Well, don't tell that I said Australia. They might not like that.
You know, the best homemade one I've seen is like a turntable, like the old records. And what it does is it carries the shells around and lines them up and then spits them out as your torch is hitting them. They're spinning by friction on the rail. That was the best homemade one I've ever seen.
Now, it seems like I've seen people do some sort of trick. I haven't paid much attention to it, but some sort of trick where they're dipping brass into molten lead. Is that a thing, or am I remember that wrong?
Dipping into lead?
Yeah, they're using the Lee pot, and what they're using is doing a salt bath annealing method.
Yeah, salt bath.
Oh, yeah, salt bath.
Yep. But I think they were doing that for 22 long rifle, so they could anneal a bunch of brass, so they could reshape it into bullet heads.
Hey, I gotta interrupt everybody. Hate to interrupt, but I'm doing this on my phone, and I got like 2% left of my battery life, so I gotta go. Otherwise, I'm just gonna hang up on you guys. So,
hey, guess what just happened to me? I did the same thing. I come down into the reloading room and put it on a plug-in.
Oh, yeah.
We might actually cut off at the 2-hour mark tonight.
Hey, guys, it's been great. If anybody out there who's watching wants to get sign up for the free giveaway, go to VaughnPrecision.com or Vaughn Precision's YouTube channel. Leave a comment on the last video posted, and you'll be entered to win. And we got some good gifts. So, hey, it's been really, really fun, you guys. All of you guys. It's been great community. And we will catch you hopefully sooner than later. It's been a good night. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you stopping by, and I'm glad you're home from fighting all those fires. It's been a long summer.
Me too. Yep. All right, folks.
Thanks a lot, Vaughn. Have a good night, buddy.
All right, you guys too.
All right, good to know where you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're anywhere near Olympia and need some gunsmithing done, most of Vaughn Precision's videos have his phone number in the background.
Yep. Yep. True story. All right, everybody. Take care.
Easy,
Okay.
You still there, Shane?
I am, buddy. I'm loading some 300 blackout.
Well, I was about to ask if you've been doing any reloading since you got that wood carving machine.
Yes.
So I know you were doing some blackout. What else have you started loading not long ago? What else have you been loading?
Well, I saw Vaughn talking. I didn't know if he was still talking or not. But I'm loading some right now. A little bit of ladder testing. I got 5 loads of the different grains that I wanted to test, and then I should have a video up tomorrow on some more 5.56 that I loaded up, some 73 grain and 75 grain with some ladder testing as well. I plan to see what load it is that my rifle and my son rifle shoots well and mass produce it.
So I got to talk to Shane for a second. Y'all excuse me. You know what Sunday is, right?
My birthday?
It's the day that the Saints are going to get beat by the Falcons in Atlanta. Ooh. I hate that
No,
that's your
it's
birthday.
It's my birthday. The Saints are going to beat Atlanta.
I'm not sure if they know it's your birthday, but maybe they'll do it better.
They know it's my birthday. Trust me.
The Falcons don't, buddy. You're in trouble.
I don't know, man. I'd be worried about the way the Falcons have been playing too.
Yeah, they're slacking off a little bit.
Yeah, and then y'all are missing Deion Jones and Keanu Neal. Ugh.
Yeah. It's going to be really embarrassing when they beat y'all anyway.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Might have to find that mute button again.
Yeah.
Is O'Neal Neal or not?
Yeah,
oh yeah. So that's what I've been up to. I've been dealing with the carvings for a little while, you know, and I finally got pretty much caught up on the ones that I wanted to take care of. So I definitely want to get some reloading done, and that's what I'm working on this weekend.
Well, folks towards the east, it's getting a bit later for them. So let's go ahead and plan on wrapping this up in a few minutes. We'll go on for a few more minutes, see if any more questions pop up here in the side chat. And we'll plan on being done here in just a few minutes.
Hey, Jamie, what kind of crossbow is that in the background?
Me?
No, Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, there's a Jamie, there's a Jim, there's another Jim. We got
Georgia, Jamie. How's that?
This Bob, my other brother, Bob.
I'm sorry. What was the question, Kevin?
What kind of crossbow is that in the background?
This
crossbow.
Oh, that's my Sniper 370.
Yeah, nice. Just picked up a nice new one myself.
It's not expensive at all, and it shoots. I chronoed it. I didn't shoot the chrono. 376 feet per second at about 20 yards, and it's nuts accurate, man. I mean, it's unbelievably accurate.
I just got a new. I think it's a Barnett.
Barnett, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 340 FPS, but I was. You know, my buddy who's a big-time crossbow hunter, I'm going out with him to do some crossbow hunting. And I sighted the thing at his place, and my second shot, I Robin Hooded the bolt, which is pretty cool. He was like, I can't believe you Robin Hooded
it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've had them. I've not split one yet, but I've had them. I've ruined them.
Yeah, split the bolt all the way down to all the way to the tip.
No way.
Yeah.
With a field point?
I've got the half moons on it, carbon fiber. I split it to the tip. Yeah.
Cool.
So Dayatherange is saying, before you all leave, what type of cameras are you guys using? We'll start with Highboy. I muted him because the powder dispenser was a little loud, but I'll turn you back on. What kind of cameras are you using for your videos?
Well, let me grab one. I'll show you. I have two of them. Okay, I'm using a Logitech webcam right now. I don't make videos with the Logitech webcam because I don't have Zoom. I can't focus in. This is the Vixia HFR60, okay? This is what I made a ton of my videos with, but don't do that one. Do this one. If you're going to go with Canon, go with the Vixia HFR82 or better, because with this I can live stream. With anything less than this that Canon makes, you can't live stream, and this is pretty affordable. So that's what I use. It's all high definition, the only thing I found with on my channel, going on 6 years now, The problem with the camcorders in the garage in the summer is the heat shuts them down. But past that, they're great. They're great. And I'm sorry about the noise, everybody.
Oh, you're good. What are you using, Kenny?
Well, before I shot it, I was using the Canon T3i. And I took that out at 1,000 yards. Caught a bullet right in the back of the cam. But right now I've been using the S8, my cell phone, and the Samsung 360 VR little camera. But that thing is pretty sensitive. I mean, it's pretty cool because I did some 360 videos, but it doesn't like the heat as well. I could probably go out there when it's around like 95 degrees, it'll last 25 minutes on direct sunlight, and then it overheats.
I remember those 360 videos. Those are neat. I think it's more of a novelty than a.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. I was planning on when I do my 3-gun competition this year, or any competition I finally get signed up into. I'm finally going to run it in a 360 mode. This is to show it off and see how the competition runs.
What do you use for a camera, Jamie?
I just use iPhones. I have 2 iPhones and a Chromebook, and my laptop. I use one of those for pretty much for all mine.
How about you, New York?
Use an iPhone. I shoot everything and edit everything on the iPhone.
Use an iMovie or something else?
Yeah, I use iMovie.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
What have you been using, Shane, for a camera?
I use a Sony HD Handycam, and I use Movavi as an editor, but I'm going to start looking for something else to use because I don't like it. And if I'm using my phone, it's just a Samsung S7.
Jim's, it doesn't look like Uncle Jim's battery's quite died on his phone, so I'm assuming he uses a phone. Or using anything other than a phone, Jim? Or is it iPhone?
Uncle Jim?
Yes.
I use an iPhone and a Splice for everything. My son's got all the fancy cameras. I really don't need it. I just do that. I'm more comfortable.
What about you, Curtis? What are you using for camera? Mr. Chapin?
Oh, did you? I came over to unmute myself. I think you already did it. The majority of my content is filmed with a GoPro Hero Session 5. And then there's fills that are filmed with iPhone 5 and an iPhone 6 and now an iPhone 8. And then my son just brought home his GoPro 3, and I've been using that a little bit. And then I've also fooled with this little, I think it's a Samsung camera that he has. So it's different things for different stuff. You know, obviously the first person stuff, the Hero Session 5 on the headband is what I use the most. And then for a lot of the fill stuff, depending on what I have with me, I always have the iPhone with me. So it ends up picking up the little pickup jobs. And then I do the editing on iMovie.
Yeah, most of my content has been filmed on an iPod Touch. I picked up a webcam that I've used in a couple of live streams. It's a Logitech, and I like the picture on it, but and the mic seems pretty good, but I'm not sure how to zoom with it like Highboy was talking about.
I guess that's the thing I didn't say. This is it's a Microsoft Life Cam 5000 HD or something like that. It's just a rattle the box thing.
On the iPod Touch, I always use the camera on the back. It's a higher quality camera, but and then I just picked up a GoPro, but I think that's only been used in one video. I don't know if any of those are good recommendations, but that's what the crowd is using. Now it looks like Vaughn Precision's back on, but in the side chat. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. And why don't everybody go around real quick and give anyone any sort of announcements or what's coming up on your channel? Then we'll call it a night. Well, we'll go back down to Highboy again. Why don't you, we'll start there.
Can I do a quick giveaway? It's not much, but I'll give it away. I just loaded up 50 rounds of 44 Magnum, and I made a dummy cartridge on the first one. The first person that sends me their name, shipping address, and phone number to ground0reloading@gmail.com, I will send this to them. ground0reloading@gmail.com. I will send them this. So there you go. I'll be looking for it.
That's not only a Highboy souvenir; it's a souvenir from tonight's live chat.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. So I got all 50 rounds loaded up. They're all incremented, and what I've done is I'll hold them up. Basically, I've got 5 rounds of each charge. I incremented in steps of 4/10 all the way up, and then the difference from the last 2 is only a 2/10 because I wanted to cap off at the max of the recipe. And then I want to say something real quick. Sometimes people will ask, like if they're going to be working up a load, what's the range or the amount that you jump from charge to charge? And I kind of I'll just tell you this. If I would have went 2/10 jump, I would have had almost 2 load blocks full of ammo, okay? So I would be going through almost 100 rounds to do my shot groups. Now, I want to say something. I'm talking about 5 shot groups. I'm not talking about ladder loads. I could do a ladder load where I just need 1 of each, but I'm running these off of my Ransom handgun rest. So what I'm looking at is 5-shot groups. So let's just say that, somewhere here in the middle, I have a pretty close range. My shot group starts tightening up. Then I can pull that in tighter from one spread to the other in 1 grain increments or a half a grain increment and really dial it in. So this is just a very rough. And the reason I wanted rough is I really want to see the difference on my Ransom rest. So that's what I'm working up. And it's a lot of fun working with the Ransom handgun rest. So there you go. I want to thank everybody. Awesome show. Here's the deal. I'm going to say something here, and I think I really offended one of my subscribers, but I got to tell you what, I don't care. We have to hold our ground. I'm going to tell you guys, we have to hold our ground. I never started my channel because I want to be this really cool guy in front of the camera. I never wanted to start my channel because I felt I knew everything. I started my channel because I love my country. I stand for my United States Constitution. Now I'm telling the viewer something. If you have the chance to watch a video, and only YouTube has it, you're kind of captive to that, right? But if you can watch a video that is both on YouTube or the Reloaders Network, why wouldn't you support the Reloaders Network? I'm just going to say it like this. I'm over on UGE.com, Utah Gun Exchange. I got videos over there. And one of my subscribers, he's watching the videos on YouTube that he could be watching on YouTube. And you know what? After the 3rd time of him telling me, oh, yeah, I went to YouTube, I said, you know what, dude? You are the reason that we are getting mowed over in this country. Why would someone support them when they could come over and support the true pro guns? And that is exactly, you know what? We don't want politics, but we got to have politics because Loads of Bacon is putting this together So if you're really going to support the gun people, if Loads of Bacon has it over on the Reloaders Network, get over there and support them. And God bless everyone. Have a good night. There you go. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate you, Highboy.
Boot box.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Kenny. Closing remarks.
Yeah, I agree with Highboy what he was saying. We do have another great platform to upload the videos, and I do back up my videos as well, not just here on YouTube, but also BitChute and as well as hard drive. So, and I got a million other names that I could put on YouTube, regardless of who's going to be on the Reloaders Network or other websites. Not that I don't see myself as a really heavy author, but I contribute what I can. What I got going on right now, I've been loading up some 6mm by 223. Finally test out that AR. I got charges loaded up with Varget and H322. I'll be taking that pretty soon. I got a 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm going to dial in with some 4451 IMR. And I had an issue with the overall length. So I'm fixing that pretty soon. But it was a pleasure being here. You guys are always great. You guys are good people. And I just enjoy you guys' company. I really don't care about the subscribers anymore, just the camaraderie from meeting you folks and the knowledge I gained from folks like you, Bolt Action Reloading, everybody here pretty much, just good people and they're willing to share. So thank you guys.
Oh, appreciate you having it on, man. All right, Jamie, we know what you're doing tomorrow.
I'll be headed to rehearsal tomorrow. I think I'm gonna miss the morning service in the morning. I gotta catch up on some rest. But like Highboy, I've been reloading. I did 50 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson while we've been sitting here. Highboy, you didn't tell us what caliber you were loading.
44 Magnum.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I suspected. I learned a lot from Highboy when I first started, and Bacon started his channel about the time I was getting really serious about getting into reloading. So maybe a little after. No. But I appreciate. I got load 6 of 35 Remington loaded up. Friday nights, the Georgia Shooting Connection on the Reloading Press channel. Y'all check it out. And I'm one that's going to have to start loading my stuff up and getting it to the Reloaders Network first, because I agree with what Highboy said, and I believe that we need to be hinging our bets, and we need to do everything we can to support our Second Amendment rights, because more and more they're under. I don't want to get political, but every time I hear about a shooting on the radio or TV on the news, it makes me cringe to know that the liberals, that's just going to make them go after our guns just that much more. So let's do what we can to support our Second Amendment, and it's up to you how the Lord leads you to do that. That's all for me, man. Thank y'all for having me. Thanks everybody for coming and watching.
Appreciate you, Jamie. All right, New York City Reloader.
Well, I tell you, I'm a big fan of Johnny's Reloading Bench, Elvis Ammo. I wish Elvis was on these forums and these talks, because I really love the work that he's done. And I got to tell you, Bacon, I've been a big fan for a long time, and I watch all your videos, and I just hope to contribute to the community as much as you guys have shared with me and knowledge and stuff. Try to do my best to keep on my end, and I'm real proud to be a part of the Reloaders Network. I love the community. I love the posts. I love everything on. Hopefully, I'm not too chatty on there. I can get kind of long-winded sometimes, so I'll try to cut it down a little bit. But you guys make it all worthwhile, and I second the Second Amendment comments. Second Amendment is what guards the other amendments that we have, right, and the other rights that we've got. So people have to understand that.
Yeah, we need to see some more videos there, brother.
I put 3 out at a time.
You do it. No, they're all high quality. I love it.
Thanks.
All right, Shane.
All right, like I said, I got some a video coming out. Should be tomorrow. When you guys check it out, please comment. There's going to be some questions that I have, a few issues I ran into. Nothing I couldn't figure out, but maybe some more advice would help out with that. I'm hoping to get these rounds downrange, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to film it where I'm shooting at. So we'll see how that goes, and I'm sure you guys will see some more unboxing videos coming up with the carving soon. So
outstanding. Yeah, that's some high quality work there too. Those are awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, guys, I'm signing off. Take it easy. All right, everyone.
Well, good night, brother. Uncle Jim, over to you.
Good night, guys.
Oh boy. My favorite videos are not reloading. So you guys know that. So it is what it is. So I really don't know what my next video is. I wing it and I do it that day, and it's done that day, that morning or afternoon. And so whatever it is, it is. That's all I can really say. I do like to reload and everything, but it's I'm terrible at reloading videos. So that's that. I don't belong anywhere.
Hey, you look like you know what you're doing from here, brother. It looks good to me.
Well, it is what it is, I guess. I don't fit in a box anywhere. People know that. So I agree with Eagle Eye. I'm not about subscribers. I like the friends I meet. If I had 40 good friends, I'm happy with that. And I've already met those. And that's what it's all about to me. I'm just a hermit up on a mountain, and meeting these friends is awesome. And that's what I really like. So
amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Chapin. Actually, I think you're still muted. Oh, he muted himself. There you go. I think you're unmuted now.
Yeah, I was running the reloading press. I didn't want to have the video jumping around. I've got some videos in the queue that I need to get taken care of. I posted the new one this morning. I'm going to do a little bit more with that rifle here pretty soon. And I've been working on a couple projects. I just did another AR with a slow twist barrel to see how it did with the light bullets. And so far the results have been real promising. I might do some work with that. I've still got a 223 project in the closet. I got all the pieces to do an entry level thing that would I'm hoping would be interesting to people that you know, are into buying something like a Ruger American and putting a scope on it and seeing what you can do with it. I got a couple things in the queue that I owe to people. I owe Uncle Jim some 357 and some 40 Smith & Wesson work, and I owe Georgia Boy a little bit of 450 Bushmaster work. And so if I can get my son to pull the trigger on those 340 grain casts out of the Bushmaster, that'll be interesting. So, but that's what we got going. I enjoy making films. The challenge that I have is I'm finding that my desire to film things is interfering with my doing things. I putting things off that I want to do so that I can film them, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to, you know, I'll film the ones that I film, and the ones that I don't film. So I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been at the range 3-4 times every week. I'm probably at the bench 2-3 hours every day. You know, it's what I've been doing, neglecting everything else. But, I haven't videoed it all, and some of it would probably be pretty boring if I did, but that's the direction I'm going.
Jap, you do owe me a taco bullet, 180 grain, 357.
Here, let me show you something. Jim, I'm going to show you something. Check this out. This is the Uncle Jim box. Okay, here's the prepped 357 brass. I found some brass. I don't even know what this head stamp is. It's just an I with a star on either, you know, and since I could be Idaho and you're the star of Idaho, I picked this brass just for you. I managed to get some of this, and then I got a whole bunch of 40s all prepped and ready to go here for some more 40 testing in the carbine, and then here's the Uncle Jim bullets here, and here's the Uncle Jim taco bullets, and they're in the queue. I just got to get her going. So you haven't been forgotten.
Okay, you know the tacos shoot, but I want other people to show they shoot. That is a great bullet. That's one of my favorites.
Well, what I'm thinking about doing them is seeing how fast I can make them go before I see ill effects out of my 6-inch GP100. So that's kind of the.
That's on my list. 357 maximum video. Prove it over and over. 5-shot groups. I might go down to our little city free range and shoot it at 100 with the contender, and that might make a good video. Okay, so maybe I'll do a video like that.
There you go. See?
Sorry, we were on the subject, but yes, do the taco. All right.
Yes.
I want to
get sucked up in the taco apocalypse. I haven't seen the guy, or is he still melting lead? He probably got stuck in a sheet of that sheet lead. He probably got wrapped up like a taco in it.
That was okay. Let's say this right now. Where is Taco? That was a great video. They even clanked all the different leads and everything. Almost caught the house on fire with the glue. The glue that was in the lead. That was a great video.
Taco was hoping beyond tonight, but he's at a birthday party tonight.
Taco.
Yeah.
I just want Taco. I want Taco to know I could do all that stuff in his challenge, obviously, but I probably just not right now. My back is so hurt, I can't do nothing. I'm lucky to just pick up a 126 grain bullet.
You definitely need to let that thing heal. I think most of us here can probably talk about back issues.
Yeah,
that's no
I can't
good.
even. I'm lucky to sit up right now. Sharp pain, but enough about that. So, Chap, looking forward. Hey, Chap, I loved your latest video.
Yeah.
I always love military rifles with the names written in that stock. There were several I almost bought just for the name.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know, the rifle is really intriguing to me because, you know, that's the Chilean contract of 1912. And, you know, the big war started when that production run was about halfway through. And many of the rifles were commandeered by the Austrians and pushed into European service. Now, this one does not show any indication that it was anything other than Chilean issue. Supposedly the ones that ended up in Europe had different sling swivels installed so they'd match a Steyr 95 swivel, you know, and they could use the same sling. And then the other part that's really interesting to me that I didn't know, I just read about it yesterday, is Great Britain or England, whatever they were called at the time, had a contract to build 2 dreadnought ships for Chile at the same time. And the 2 boats were already for trial, and they were already outfitted with rifles for their whatever their equivalent of the Marine detachment is, and they had 1912 contract Chilean Mausers on them, and the British took both of those boats for the war and used them. One of them, after 20 years, it was named the HMS Canada, was given back to Chile, and then the other one became an aircraft carrier, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was sunk in 43. So I don't know what the disposition of the rifles were that were on those 2 ships after the British got a hold of them, you know, if the ones went back to Chile afterwards. So I can have my dream that my rifle was on a ship that was commandeered by England for the war. You know, it probably wasn't, but it's a fun fantasy.
Well, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to find out.
I think the rifle's going to shoot good too. You know, I was struggling a little bit because I was rushing because the weather was coming in, so I really wasn't able to get myself settled down, and I was a little wiggly. It's funny because JCM was commenting that he didn't think the rifle was moving very much. So I'm thinking, boy, it sure didn't look like that when you're on the butt end of it. I thought it was going all over the place.
But yeah, but your last group rested was good. You had 3 left, and it shot a
Yep.
good group, right?
Yep.
Shoot 3 shot.
Yep.
So
That's
maybe
probably
one of
the barrel started to clean up a little.
Maybe one of the names on the rifle, since the ship sank, was a mermaid.
Could be.
All right,
Could be.
bad joke. Bad joke. Bad.
And on that note, let me address 2 comments real quick in the side chat here. Chicowize was wondering what happens to the posts on the Reloaders Network if YouTube ever pulls videos or for whatever reason they go away. Well, the short version of that is the video is gone, but the post is not, and you can go back and edit the source, so you can fix that post on the Reloaders Network in a matter of seconds if the same video is hosted somewhere else.
Yeah, you'd have to save the video, or you know, we were talking about huge tube. I haven't tried on the Chromebook. Uploading there is tough. If it was as easy as YouTube, all my videos would be there. Because they're local, they're pro everything. So
actually, with YouTube, if you're uploading to YouTube already, there's a button you can push on the YouTube site, and it'll pull it over for you. It'll pull over the title and description and everything.
Yeah, I already did that. It pulls it over, but it doesn't. It's not from there. They need apps. They need the servers. You know what I mean?
No, it saves it onto their servers
forever.
I tried that out when they first started up. I pulled one over, then I deleted the one on YouTube, and the one on YouTube was still there. So yeah, I could get into the details of where they store their stuff, but they're not storing it on YouTube's servers. They're storing it somewhere else.
Oh wow, you just made a lot of work for me. I got 200 videos to put on YouTube.
Well, you need to get a hold of Highboy, because he worked with YouTube and they pulled it. He worked some deal where they helped him pull it all over. So, and Highboy had closer to 2,000 videos. So
1,800.
They won't disappear if YouTube cancels them out. That's
correct. Correct.
Wow, I got a lot of work to do.
So, James, if I understand you correctly, as an example, I could take and upload a video onto YouTube. I could then share it over to you, and then I could delete that video off of YouTube, and it would still play on the Reloaders Network, correct?
No, I'm saying if you use the little import button at YouTube.
But then you could delete it off of YouTube, and it would still be.
It would still be on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they were still using the link. I'm still going to talk to them about coming over to the house and doing a video. They've been doing all the political stuff lately. But I haven't been talking to them, and they're willing to come over, and I'll write their initials on the lawn.
Well, and again, talk to Highboy. He sat down with one of the heads of YouTube for dinner a couple nights ago.
Yeah, it's only a 2-hour drive. It's only a 2-hour drive for them, and I might have them over in the. I'm thinking the winter time with their feet, and we blow up snowmen.
The other thing, if it looks like Tim's back out in the side chat, Tim, I'm trying to message you on Slack. I got a couple questions I want to run by you. Let's see if we can get that echo to go away. All right, and I guess I'll finish up real quick. I've got, I'm back in the country after being gone for 6 months. So what do I have in the near future? I'm finally going to start making videos again, which will be awesome. What video is going to be first? I don't know yet. I've got a laundry list of ideas, and nothing started yet because, well, I've been gone. So, but I'm looking forward to getting back to the range. I've been talking about an itchy trigger finger. But I appreciate all you guys coming on tonight in the live stream as well as the live chat. Y'all are awesome. Folks mentioned earlier, but this is an outstanding, awesome community. And I love that y'all let me be a part of it. So appreciate that, and we'll go ahead and cut this off, which is about typical. We always say 2 hours, and it comes out about 2 hours and 21 minutes. So have a good night, y'all, and we will do this again most likely in about a month. And I think next Friday should be the Georgia live stream if you're itching for a live stream. So thank you all. Appreciate that you're here, and appreciate all of the YouTubers and Reloaders Network authors and other folks that have been hanging out in the side chat as well. There's a number of you there. So have a good night.
God bless y'all. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, America. Thank you, everybody.
Perfect.
Right on. Right on.